Hi guys, me again. I'm really sorry that about the last video that I did. It was people didn't want to see it, obviously, and I'm sorry I had to rant somehow. But obviously I'm here to get another video. Otherwise, why would I be here? So obviously Christmas is right around the corner. It's already December. Holy crap! It feels like just yesterday that it was beginning of 2015, and now it's almost gonna be 2016. Oh, mind-blowing. But anyway, anyone who ever works on the week of Christmas, or maybe they even get vacation, a little bit of a vacation, like my dad has 2 weeks for Christmas off, knows about how hard it is to work during that week, especially all the holidays leading up to it. And my dad was lucky to get 2 weeks off for Christmas. I, however, work in a grocery store. I only get 1 day off, so it's like I pretty much am probably gonna have to, like most people, are probably gonna have to work the day before their day off, or their week off, or 2 weeks off, or whatever. So I'm gonna tell you a little story about last year's debacle. I think it was that one, anyways. I can't keep yours straight for some reason today, but it was, I think, about a year and a half ago. And obviously Christmas is right around the corner. I think it was about a week and a half when the story took place. And there was this guy, let's call him Ryan, because he was a newbie, and we didn't like him, and a lot of us didn't like him, so we didn't want to remember his name after everything. So the thing that summed up his character traits was arrogant, know-it-all, and didn't like to work. Like, literally, he thought that by working less hours, he would get more money, and I worked more than him, and I got more money. And I looked right at him when he actually said this to me at one point, and I'm like, that's not how paychecks work. You're gonna get less money than me, I guarantee it. You only get 16 hours, I got 28 for the week. That's not how paychecks work, buddy. He was all arrogant and everything, so it's like, oh, this guy's not gonna last long. And everyone else seemed to think the same thing. But moving on from that one, this guy, when we were outside on carts, had an annoying tendency to, I don't know if it was on break or he just went out without anybody noticing, but he went out to his car to text or call or whatever, I'm not really sure what, but he liked to watch people, whoever was outside on carts, do carts, basically. And a friend of mine, Shelby, who is now in the military, and who has switched departments a little bit after that happened, she was a bagger like me at one point, and it was her turn to go outside on carts, and she came in, like, really freaked out, and I'm like, Shelby, what's wrong? And she's like, you know that new kid that we just have here? And I'm like, yeah, how could we not? He's arrogant as all out. And she's like, yeah, I'm really freaked out right now. I'm like, I could see that. What happened? And she's like, well, she paused. She didn't know what to say at first. I think she was a little bit shocked that it happened. And so I waited patiently, and she's like, well, I was outside on carts, obviously, and then I hear Ryan, we're just going to call him that, obviously, I heard Ryan go, hey, Shelby, and she looks, and she said, I looked over, and he was in his car saying, hello and everything else, and she waved, like, she's a nice person, got back to doing carts, and a few seconds later, she said she got a text from him, because I don't know why, but she gave him her cell phone number, but I think a few minutes later, he said, I like watching you, it's entertaining. She didn't exactly go outside on carts after that. She's like, I'm freaked out, I'm not going back outside, And I'm like, I don't blame you, did you tell the manager? And she's like, I'm planning to. And it's like, oh, then, we don't need a crazy person out there watching us, like a freaking stalker. So she goes, she goes and she tells the manager. Obviously, they don't do anything about it. It's a grocery store. The management didn't really do anything because they thought he was messing around or whatever. So it's like they didn't do anything. So he does this a few more times, and then they ignore it. And then it's my turn. And I go outside. I didn't even know he was outside in his car at that point. But I do carts for an hour, come back inside, and he comes and begs over to me, and then he does this. He looks at me like this, like out of the corner of his eyes, like a peripheral vision sort of thing, and he's like, you know, I was watching you outside on carts. Watching you push them was very entertaining. And he smiles at me. It's like, and I go, since when does watching people out in your car doing nothing for an hour count as entertaining? And he's like, it just was. And I'm like, thinking in my head, I get what Shelby was freaked out about now. That's insane. I mean, it's one thing for a person to be watching because they're outside waiting for someone, but for an actual employee to be sitting there for an hour watching somebody go back and forth doing cards thinking it's entertaining is creepy. I don't know about you, but that's creepy. That's insane. So as soon as I got done with an order, I'm like, I'm going this way. And I went to Shelby, and I helped bag her order, seeing at the time it was a really big order, and she's like, man, you're really freaked out. What happened? And she's like, you know that, I'm like, you know that story you told me a little while ago about him watching you doing cards? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, that happened to me, and I didn't know about it. And she's like, but so what's this guy doing? What, does he think that no one's gonna do anything? And I'm like, apparently it hasn't happened yet. So we try to stay away from him, but being a bagger at the front end is pretty, I guess, there's nowhere to run unless you're told to go somewhere, so we were stuck there with him. So we try not to go in the same lane or stay longer than necessary near him. So a few days go along, and and it's his turn to do carts, because after that we just do our own thing. We ignore him, or try to anyway. Shelby blocked his number, which is good, because she shouldn't have given him her number anyway, because he was a creep. And it's his turn to do carts. Let me count by saying there was an actual punishment done after this, because he went out there for an hour. Obviously, that's the most you can go out there for an hour. And the manager, her name is Sue, who is now retired, but she when she worked there, she was with us on the front end for the night, and she comes in and she gets all angry, and she's the nicest, sweetest lady in the world. I loved her, and I was sad to see her go when she retired. So I knew her for a while, and she got really angry. She's like, "Hey, can you come over here for a second?" And she does this, like, you know, crooks a finger at me, and she never does that. And they're like, she usually just comes up and, you know, taps me on the shoulders, like, "Can you come with me for a second?" She doesn't yell across the room at you. It's like, okay, she's angry. So I go over and I'm like, yeah, Sue, what do you need? And she's like, "Can you come with me for a second and tell me what you think?" We go to the lobby where the carts are. There's absolutely none in there, and it's near Christmas, like like a few days. I think about a few days at that point of Christmas, and everyone is in there getting their Christmas stuff and everything else, last minute shoppers and all that. So it's just insanely busy. And I look and I go, well, I didn't go out. Who was out? And she's like, Ryan. I'm like, never trust him to go outside on carts. What are you doing? And she's like, I should have thought about that, but now we're suffering, obviously, because there's no carts in here. Could you please go outside? I'll send someone out with you. Not only did she send somebody outside, she sent me, and about, I think, 4 others. There was me, Shelby, CJ, Dale, and I think one other person I'm forgetting that quit after that Christmas. But yeah, there was about 4 or 5 people out there with me. And I'm like, holy crap, but we needed the help, so it's like, what can we do? And then CJ, he's a really cool guy. I like him, but I don't think he works there anymore, which is sad. But he comes out after doing a load of carts. And I catch a little bit of a conversation that gets us all happy, and for a good reason. He's like, yeah, Ryan just quit. I'm like, and Shelby kind of stopped and talked to him about it. I'm like, wait a second. I did a double take and stopped. I'm like, wait a second. You mean quit or got fired? And CJ's like, well, he said he got fired, but I doubt that he said that he quit. Sorry, he said that he quit, but I doubt it. And we're all thinking, yeah, he probably got fired. And I'm like, well, who talked to him last? Who fired him, or if you think that? And he's like, well, Frankie talked to him last, so I assume that she fired him. And Frankie is probably one of the nicest higher up managers ever. So having her yell at him that he is fired is probably one of the most insane, but happily insane things ever. I mean, we were jumping up and down. We were so happy. We got rid of him, or rather, the store got rid of him. But finally, somebody got rid of the guy. And to top it all off, he tried to run one of our coworkers over, and it was really funny because one of our coworkers ended up slamming his fist on the hood and, slamming it like this and giving him the finger before getting up on the sidewalk because he had the right of way, and the guy he was an all-around dirtbag. So that was probably the most difficult Christmas ever because I was out there for a good 2 hours just getting carts in, and everyone else was just basically freezing. And that Christmas, I think we got a good amount of snow, so it was kind of still slushy and everything else, so we kind of had a problem getting carts through there, but we did it, and we got it full, so that was actually a good thing. But I can't believe that. I don't get it. If you didn't want to work at the store, or you thought it was an easy job, why did you fill out the form to get hired in the first place? I don't get it. If you don't want to work, just don't do anything. If you want to sit on your butt all day like you've been doing for the past, I think he worked there for about 3-4 weeks to a month, maybe, I'm not sure. But if you could just sit around on your butt all day, just do it. Don't do it at work. That's a good way of getting you fired. And obviously, he got fired. And I've seen him only a couple of times, and I haven't spoken to him, and he hasn't spoken to me, so that's a good thing. But I just don't get it. But I guess it's all well and good because we don't need him, because ever since then it's been going smoothly. So it's actually pretty well done. So, sorry this story is a bit confusing. You can tell that I kind of talk kind of fast, and it happens when I'm really getting into a story, or really getting excited to tell a story, so, or really upset, which isn't in this case. Well, maybe a little bit, but still. But I'm really sorry if you can't follow the story correctly, but that story I've been brewing to tell about. I've been brewing in my mind if I should tell about it or not, and I'm like, well, it's near the holidays again, so why not? But leave your comments below. Tell me your stories. Where you work and what happened, or maybe a customer did something, or a coworker did something to make your jobs harder, because it happened to me. I mean, there's no reason for that, but still, I know I'm not alone, so you can leave your stories if you want, or you can comment and whatever. And sorry the story's all over the place. Again, I need to get my thought process through better, however I'm going to do that. But I guess I'll talk to you guys later and see you in the next video. Have a nice night.